Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for a special address. We're talking about the topic Diplomacy in the Digital Age, Leveraging Fintech for Global Economic Cooperation. We're elated that we have a very renowned leader and speaker who's joining us, and I think he deserves a warmer round of applause as we call upon none other than Shri Mahaveer Singhvi, Joint Secretary, New Emerging and Strategic Technologies, Division, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. Ladies and gentlemen, a warmer round of applause as we invite Mr. Singhvi on the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think this time perhaps the attendance becomes a little thinner, maybe because most of the people must be looking for some coffee break or so. But anyway, thank you those who are here to listen. And at the outset, let me thank the organizers for inviting me to this grand fifth edition of the Global Fintech Festival. I think the scale and the magnitude of this festival this year has exceeded all the previous editions. And I have been told that it has now become the world's biggest fintech conferences in all respects. And my compliments, therefore, to the organizers for achieving this distinction. And for me, it is indeed an honor and a privilege to address you today at this festival, which is truly a platform that symbolizes the convergence of innovation, finance, and also diplomacy in a way in the digital age, as we see a significant number of delegates in this festival from across the world. And yesterday morning, if you recall, in the opening session, MEA's Secretary Economic Relations, Shri Ravi spoke about the blueprint for next decade of finance and the trends in the fintech sector. Today, I'll try to discuss how this transformative sector is reshaping global economic and financial cooperation and how India is playing an important role in this context, particularly through our diplomatic endeavors, and what the private sector, the fintech companies, should be doing to enhance this global economic cooperation and financial cooperation. As you are all aware, the global fintech industry is growing at an exponential rate, and this growth is driven by the increased adoption of digital payments and the expansion of financial services to the underserved population. And in this rapidly evolving landscape, fintech is not just changing the way we conduct financial transactions, but it is also altering the dynamics of international relations. Today, fintech has transitioned from a niche sector to a cornerstone of global economy and a catalyst for global economic cooperation. And by leveraging cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, and big data, fintech all over is reshaping the financial landscape, creating new opportunities for collaboration across the borders and across the world. Today, as you all know, fintech innovation have made cross-border payments faster, cheaper, and more efficient, and thereby significantly reducing the friction which is traditionally associated with international trade. Similarly, blockchain-based solutions are enabling real-time settlements of cross-border transactions, reducing cost and increasing transparency. This has profound impact on the global trade as businesses can now transact with partners in different countries with greater ease and security. Fintech is also democratizing access to financial services, thereby enabling financial inclusion, particularly in the regions where traditional banking infrastructure is lacking. And this is very important because we have been doing a lot of work in this direction. If you look at a World Bank study, it says that nearly 1.5 billion adults remain unbanked globally. Fintech solutions such as mobile banking, peer-to-peer lending, and digital wallets are providing these individuals with access to financial services and thereby integrating them into the global economy. And that's something I think is one of the most important contributions of the fintech industry towards the global financial inclusion. And at the same time, the blockchain technology, which is a fundamental component of fintech, is revolutionizing transparency and trust in global finance. Similarly, regulatory technology, RegTech, as you all know, which is a subset of fintech, is helping countries align with their regulatory framework, thereby facilitating smoother international cooperation. RegTech solutions such as AI and machine learning, and with the use of AI and machine learning to help financial institutions comply with regulations in real time across multiple jurisdictions. This is not only reducing the cost of compliance, but also ensure that global financial systems are more harmonized. And as global financial adoption increases, the harmonization of regulations will be critical in enabling seamless cross-border operations. Now, coming to India's story, as you are all aware, our fintech ecosystem has today become one of the most dynamic and fastest growing in the world. We have the highest fintech rate adoption, which is 87%, and which is significantly higher than the global average of around 64%. This growth in fintech has been driven by a unique convergence of factors, such as widespread mobile and internet penetration and a burgeoning tech-savvy population and initiative like Digital India. And our leadership in fintech is not just a domestic achievement. It also has a significant implications for our global footprints. The Government of India, and particularly we in the Ministry of External Affairs, are conscious of this and has recognized the strategic importance of fintech in enhancing our diplomatic outreach, particularly in promoting financial inclusion, enhancing cross-border payments, and leading international collaboration in fintech innovations. Our unified payment interface, UPI, as you all know, which has revolutionized digital payments within the country, is now being replicated globally. Today, UPI is one of the most successful digital platforms in the world. And recognizing its potential, we are now exporting UPI to various countries. In 2023, we have signed an agreement with Singapore to link UPI with Singapore's Pay Now, enabling users in both countries to make cross-border transactions seamlessly. This collaboration not only facilitates trade and remittance, but also serve as a model for other countries to adopt similar digital payment solutions. UPI today is at Eiffel Tower. It is accepted in Bhutan, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Abu Dhabi. We have also entered into agreement to facilitate QR-based UPI payments in several other countries, including Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Singapore, Cambodia, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and many more. Similarly, India's indigenous card network, RuPay, has expanded its reach globally, and with acceptance in over 40 countries, including Singapore, the UAE, and the Bhutan. In 2024, RuPay extended its presence to Saudi Arabia, further strengthening financial ties between India and the Gulf region. This expansion not only facilitates cross-border transactions for Indian citizens abroad, but also enhances economic cooperation with partner countries. India has also been actively pursuing fintech partnerships with several other countries. The India-UK Financial Partnership, which was launched in 2021, aims to enhance cooperation in fintech, particularly in areas such as digital payments and financial inclusion. In 2023, this partnership was further strengthened with the launch of a $1 billion investment fund to support fintech startups in both the countries. And such strategic alliances not only boost the fintech ecosystem in India and partner countries, but also pave the way for more collaborative global financial systems. Under the India-Africa Partnership for Digital Financial Inclusion, we are working with several African nations to develop digital financial services infrastructure. And this initiative is testament to how fintech can be used as a tool for diplomacy, strengthening our ties with Global South and contributing to the global development goals and economic cooperation. India Stack, I'm sure all of you are aware, which is a subset of open APIs that enables government, businesses, and developers to build on top of the India's digital infrastructure, is also gaining international recognition. In February 2024, India signed an MOU with Nigeria to assist in developing a similar digital infrastructure. Several other countries have expressed interest in learning from our experience to develop their own digital identity frameworks. And we have signed MOUs with several countries at the Global South for knowledge sharing and collaborations on DPI. During our G20 presidency also, we have focused on DPI as a key priority area for digital transformation. We have played a pivotal role in advocating for global standards in cross-border payments. India also pushed for interoperable payment systems that have been instrumental in shaping global discussions on how to make cross-border payments faster, cheaper, and more transparent. And this initiative is a part of India's broader strategy to share its fintech innovation as digital public goods, thereby fostering greater economic cooperation and development globally. In addition, India has also announced the creation of a social impact fund for accelerating DPI implementation across global South nations with an initial commitment of $25 million, which is around 200 crores, to the fund for offering financial support for technical and non-technical assistance to countries in the developing DPI system across the world. Our proactive approach in sharing our expertise in digital identity and financial inclusion is fostering closer ties with countries that seeks to replicate its success. Now let me come to the role of Indian fintech companies in furthering international economic and financial cooperation. As you know, while Government of India had played a very crucial role in leveraging fintech for global economic cooperation, I think the private sector, particularly fintech companies, also have a great role to play in that regard. The success of India's fintech diplomacy depends not only on government initiatives, but also on the innovation, investment, and collaboration of private enterprises. India's fintech companies have been at the forefront of developing cutting-edge solutions from mobile payments and digital wallets to AI-driven financial services and blockchain platforms. And to maintain this momentum, fintech companies must continue to invest in research and development, exploring emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, and quantum computing. In addition, fintech companies should also focus on creating solutions that address the unique challenges faced by developing countries, and there is a lot of opportunities over there. By developing products and use cases that cater to the needs of these markets, I think Indian fintech firms would be able to expand their global footprint and support the government's diplomatic efforts and initiatives. Similarly, I think cooperation among fintech companies across borders are also essential for the global expansion of India's fintech sector. India's fintech companies have already begun collaborating with global counterparts, but there is much more that can be done. For example, I think India's fintech startups can partner with African and Southeast Asian fintech firms to co-develop solutions for financial inclusion and also work with countries in Europe and America on blockchain-based trade finance platforms. And these partnerships are not only beneficial for business, but also contribute to our diplomatic objectives and help build stronger ties and foster goodwill between countries and nations. Again, as fintech continues to grow, it is vital that companies uphold the highest ethical standards. And this includes ensuring data privacy, preventing financial crimes such as money laundering, and promoting financial inclusion. India's fintech companies must also focus on sustainability, developing products and services that contribute to the achievement of the UN SDGs. And this is also very important. And by adhering to these principles, I think fintech companies can help build a fintech ecosystem that is not only profitable but also socially responsible. This, in turn, I think will enhance India's reputation on the global stage and support government's diplomatic efforts. And to sustain its leadership in fintech, I think Indian fintech companies must also continue to invest in capacity building, and that's very important. Companies should invest in training and upskilling their workforce, ensuring that they have the skills needed to navigate the rapidly changing fintech landscape. Fintech firms can support also educational initiatives by sponsoring fintech-focused university programs and industry academia partnerships. And by building a strong talent pipeline, the fintech sector can ensure that India remains at the forefront of fintech innovation. In addition, effective collaborations between the private sector and the government is essential for the growth and stability of India's fintech ecosystem. Fintech companies should actively engage in public-private partnerships, particularly in the policy dialogue, and provide inputs for regulatory frameworks. And this is very important. We look forward to have your inputs. Fintech firms can work with government to develop regulatory sandboxes that allow for testing of new technologies in a controlled environment. And these collaborations will help ensure that India's fintech industry continue to thrive while addressing potential risks such as cybersecurity threats and financial instability. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I would like to say that the digital age presents us with an unprecedented opportunities to reshape the global economic landscape. Fintech is at the heart of this transformation, driving innovations, fostering inclusion, and enhancing global economic and financial cooperation. For India, the rise of fintech is not just an economic opportunity, but it is also a strategic asset that can be leveraged to strengthen our diplomatic ties and contribute to global development. The government of India has been proactive in recognizing and harnessing this power of fintech to achieve these goals. However, the government cannot achieve this alone. The private sector, particularly the fintech companies, must take an active role in this journey. And we at the Ministry of External Affairs will be happy to assist you in this journey. Let us work together to build a fintech ecosystem that not only drives economic growth, but also fosters global cooperation, inclusion, and sustainability. And by doing so, we can ensure that the fintech becomes a force for good in the world, contributing to a more equitable, prosperous, and peaceful global economy. I thank you once again for inviting me here. Thank you.